Recording in progress.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, October 10th, 2022, and the time now is 5:16. And I'll call to the order the special meeting of the Town of Mead Urban Renewal Authority. Due to the COVID-19 virus, the Town of Mead Urban Renewal Authority will hold this meeting as an electronic meeting with remote participation in accordance with the authority in emergency procedures adopted by Resolution Number 2, URA 2020. Virtual access information, including the Zoom meeting link, has been provided on the Town of Mead website and at designated posting places at least 24 hours prior to the meeting. Mary, roll call, please.
Chairman Whitlow.
Here.
Commissioner Adams.
Here.
Commissioner Babcock.
Here.
Commissioner Broadhead.
Here.
Commissioner Cartwright.
Here.
Commissioner Harris.
Here.
Commissioner Schranz.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner McConnell. And Commissioner Karianek.
She's a traffic stop, but she's still trying to get into the virtual room right now.
Karianek. Thank you. Mayor, Chairman Whitlow, today is Monday, October 10th, 2022, and you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next is review and approve agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda submitted. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Babcock.
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwright.
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Schranz.
Yes.
Commissioner Broadhead.
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Chairman Whitlow.
Yes. Please note for the record that Commissioner Krennick is with us this evening. Can you hear us, Sarah?
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. I'm glad you're here with us. We're on item number 4, public comment. Okay, public comment is in for any item, whether it's on the agenda or not. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you are here with us virtually, please indicate by raising your hand if you wish to speak. I don't see anybody here in the audience or with us virtually, so we will go to the consent agenda. The consent agenda contains items which are considered routine and are acted in one motion and vote. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schranz.
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwright.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Babcock.
Yes.
Commissioner James.
Yes.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Commissioner Broadhead.
Yes.
Commissioner Hurrianek. How do you pronounce your name? Can you pronounce your name for me first?
Karianek.
Hurrianek.
Karianek.
And how do you vote? Yes. Thank you. And Chairman Whitlow.
Yes. Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, staff, and all participants that did the work on the consent agenda this evening. Next is our 2023 draft budget presentation. I'll turn over the microphone to our town clerk, town treasurer, Mary Strett.
Hello. Thank you for having me here tonight to talk to you about our budget. Start. All right. We're going to start with just a quick schedule of how our budget works here with the Urban Renewal Authority. We get from Weld County, we get the preliminary certifications of assessed values in August. We're having this meeting tonight to present a proposed budget. If this commission wants any extra work sessions to discuss the proposed budget, we'd be happy to schedule those in October or November. And then December 10th is when Weld County will recertify the assessed values with the final assessment. We have scheduled a public hearing on December 12th to present and hopefully adopt the final budget. So that's our schedule for this year. And I'm gonna talk again about the, URA formation, just briefly. Do this at every meeting, but we don't meet that often, so just wanted to talk about this just a little bit. The plan objectives for MURA are to stimulate commercial development on I-25 and Highway 66 corridors, upgrade and restore public infrastructure, repair physical deterioration, and revive downtown need area. County Road 9.5 is to give it a consistent identity and appropriate land use, and to enhance aesthetic appearances around town, and eliminate impediments to redevelopment. So those are our goals. That's what we're doing here as part of the authority. And we'll talk about, again, I always try to put this in here a little bit, what can MURA fund? So MURA can fund public improvements. That's what we're looking to fund. Either the town has done some public improvements, or maybe some public improvements, or private developers. We've had a couple, right? MURA has contributed to the Welker and Third intersection, which is upcoming, and has done some contributions to some private developers, to Idfinity, Ziggy's, Anytime Fitness. So those are the most prevalent ones that we've done so far. Looking to improve economic development in the town and do any infrastructure that can enhance any of that. So one thing that we asked MURA to fund in 2021 and 2022 was some of the branding efforts in Meade to try to help the economic development in Meade. And I'd like to ask Lorelei to come talk about the branding efforts that were done. And after Lorelei is done, Jason's gonna talk to you about some of the commercial development in Meade, in this area.
So as many of you know, the town embarked on its branding initiative back in 2019, and the goal was to create something that was sustainable, connects our community, celebrate Meade's character, and attract new residents and businesses. So last year was dedicated to sign design, comprehensive signage plan, and earmarking locations. This year, we've installed 25 signs, including gateway signs, a LED sign, park signs, directionals for vehicles and pedestrians. Branding and signage are key to identifying our community. It stimulates economic growth. It provides a much needed cohesion of our community. And our objective is to continue this branding and signage on an annual basis and moderately adding signs as our needs and our businesses and our population grows.
Thank you, Lorelei.
Okay, so I thought I would just highlight some of the economic development that we've seen happen within and near some of the urban renewal boundaries. And as Mary explained, the majority of the urban renewal boundary is sort of concentrated around those two interchange points along I-25. In the north, the County Road 34 corridor, and then in the south, the Highway 66 corridor. And we've seen quite a bit of development within those specific areas. And three areas that we've highlighted here where we've seen quite a bit of interest in redevelopment and economic development. The small circle on the left side of the screen there shows the core downtown area. And then the area around the County Road 34 interchange, that's where some of those larger distribution warehouse projects have occurred. And then down on the south part of that slide, the Highway 66 corridor and some of the redevelopment that we've seen along there. And so I'll highlight a few of those. So The first one that I wanna highlight is Idfinity. Everybody has seen Idfinity under construction, which we're really excited about. That's a redevelopment of an existing site, a new convenience store, a new fueling facility, and then also a car wash that will begin construction here very soon. Quick Trip, that is down on the south part of the urban renewal boundary, down by the interchange for Highway 66, and that is another new fueling facility or travel facility with a new fueling canopy and convenience store, and we're really excited about that. The construction for that should be starting here in the next couple of months. The building permit has been pulled, and so it's just a matter of time before construction starts there. Also within the downtown area near Idfinity and Ziggy's is improvements to 3rd and Welker intersection. So some of that infrastructure, that critical infrastructure that makes that important intersection right at the core part of the downtown. That's the sort of investment in infrastructure that helps to spur other redevelopment and improve the infrastructure in the urban renewal boundary. Let's see, there's some other projects that I think have been spurred by some of the movement that we've seen in the urban renewal boundaries, like the Access 25 project. That's a new project. It's a 10,000, let's see, I'm sorry, let me find the stats here. That is a new 120,000 square foot flex building that is on 10 acres, and that is right next to Project Frogger, or the Home Depot project that we all know is almost ready for, it's almost complete now. Also, starting I think this last week, paving along Weld County Road 36 has begun. So we've already started to see some improvements to infrastructure. That old dirt road is now being improved and paved. So again, a lot of infrastructure improvements within the corridor. Elevation 25, that is, we see 2 buildings that are being constructed right now, and a lot of interest in the rest of that property, which is on the west side of County Road 9.5, and let's see, right off of County Road 28 there.
You're going strong there for a
I
while.
know, it was going well.
Sorry.
Okay, and then just some other interesting projects that are coming. So in the Ritchie Brothers property, there's a lot of redevelopment happening. The Lawson Construction property, that's on the south end of the Ritchie Brothers property. It's a 9-acre lot. And Lawson Construction is looking to construct a, 14,000 square foot office and shop space there. So that'll be exciting. That's directly to the east of the Iglesia Church that happened last year. And I've talked about some of these as well. Some of the downtown improvements, the improvements to the intersection of 3rd and Welker, some of the connections that we've made with sidewalks and public infrastructure improvements. So a a lot of exciting things happening. Some of the existing buildings in the downtown where developers or investors are looking to purchase some of those buildings, fix some of those buildings up, and bring some businesses to the downtown. So a lot of exciting things that are happening as a result of the investment that the town has made in the urban renewal boundary. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, so for the 2023 proposed budget, go back one. We're looking at some property tax revenue increase. So the property tax revenue increase in 2023 is going to be due to commercial assessed values increasing and oil and gas revenues increasing for us. We don't usually, as you know, we don't really specify a whole lot in our MURA budget. We look at what projects are brought to us and come forward. There are some expenditures available for infrastructure or public improvement projects. The town will probably be coming to the authority to ask for some funding to assist with public improvements related to the community center and parking downtown, and then just any other public improvements that may come within the boundaries. So next, Lorraine Trotter with Professional Management Solutions is going to talk to you all and go through the actual budget with you. You should each have a copy of that I left on your desk. And Lorraine, come on up, it's yours.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, Commissioners. Nice to be back here tonight. Get to go through the numbers of the proposed budget. So I'll kind of walk you through this. And as we talk about each time with your funds, we always want to see what's left, what you get in, and what you spend, and then what's left after that. So starting on page 1 with the beginning fund balance, you see 2 years of actual beginning fund balances. That's money that's collected over the time of your existence, and started in 2020 with a beginning fund balance of $1,721,000. By 2021, it was $2,881,000. We forecast that for 2022, the beginning fund balance would be $3,500,000, and it came in very close to that, $3,518,000. And so we are looking at the estimated actual column now to see where we think we'll end up at the end of this year that would bring the beginning fund balance forward for 2023. So going down that estimated actual column, starting with the $3,518,000, you have your revenues there. And you've got your one major revenue, which is the property tax, and it has bounced around a little with some setbacks in oil and gas in 2020, but it's kind of resurged, and we're expecting, based on the assessor's estimates, that it will be back to the 2.9 level again for 2023. So that brings revenues in to add to your beginning fund balance, and then all the expenditures show how you can spend that or how you expect to spend it. So the estimated actual for your expenditures, the first 10 or 11 line items there are your personnel related line items. They have to do with small portions of each of these people you've seen here tonight, like the town manager and the town clerk treasurer, the planner, public works, etc., and Lorelai's department. What time they spend on activities that benefit the MURA. You can see from the estimated 2022 column to the right of it, that these will be fairly stable, going up a little more than 10% for 2023. Then you get to the big expenditure, which is the TIF revenue sharing. And this $1 million figure has to do exactly with what comes in and what your agreements are with the entities that form the MURA, and what you agree to share back to them from what comes in from what would be entirely their coffers. You essentially share back about half of it to those main entities. The next line items on this page are fairly small, but getting to the second page, you see around the public relations and economic development line item, the TIF advance line item, which ends in 5427, the fifth one down, is what you can advance to a developer or to a property owner within the MURA to help them with a project that you would approve. And so this is what Mary was mentioning, when projects come to you, you see if it's something that you believe advances the goals of the MURA, and therefore you have this money budgeted that's available to be spent as you approve it. So far this year, we haven't seen one, there's not one in the offing, so the estimated actual is 0, but we went ahead and budgeted another million, actually $1.1 million next year to go up about 10% to hopefully have something, have money available if a project comes in that you want to support. The capital outlay line item that ends with 5,500, capital outlay wayfinding, is one of the things that Lorelei mentioned about the signage and the importance of that to establish identity in the district. And if you look at the actual 2021 amount of $49,901 and add that to the estimated actual for this year of $50,099, that equals the $100,000 that you approved for spending on the initial big wayfinding project that has been completed. The $50,000 in the rightmost column is more money to put toward that, as Lorelei mentioned, to keep that going and to keep proceeding with that idea. Down the second to last line item in that section is other projects, and there's $1 million budgeted there to be available for things that you would want to do as a district. That varies from the $1.1 million up above, where you would be working with a contractor, with a landowner or business owner in the district, as opposed to something that you would want to spend your money on, that would be all at your discretion. That total budget, all those expenditures, they're fungible. You could, decide to do more in one line item than the other, but this is the idea now and how it's presented as a proposed budget for use of those monies. The transfer out is transfer to the transportation fund, and that's to be for alley improvements in 2023. The little box at the bottom of page 2 kind of gives you a synopsis of some of the items I've mentioned that are noteworthy for any of the years here. But the ending fund balance in the estimated actual 2022 budget is still around $3 million. We started the year about 3.5 and made some expenditures, as we've discussed. And then next year it would drop down to 1.3 if you spent those $2 million figures on the items that might come forward for special projects or for working with an entity with a TIF advance. If not, you would add 2.1 million to that bottom line, and you'd have about 3.4 million at the end of that year. So timing is always unknown as to when projects will come forward and needs will arise, but you've got a good amount of money there to work with at this point in time for whenever these projects or requests come forward that you want to approve. So with that, I would welcome any questions you may have about the individual line items. You can certainly ask to modify them, etc., before you're approving the budget, but this is the proposal in the proposed budget at this point in time.
And if I could add a little before you ask questions, I just wanted to point out that primarily we've used MURA so far in the downtown area with the whole concept of a rising tide lifts all boats. So if you look at things like that intersection at almost $5 million, no development would be able to build that intersection on its own. It's too expensive of an existing burden. So that's a great one that will ultimately spur economic development and raise the property values in downtown. As you remember, the town purchased the lot just north of Midtown Center last year. The idea is, as we go through the design of the community center, we're gonna look at the alley in between and the roadway for additional parking, for enhancement, and the parking lot. So we want to come back to MURA and ask for participation for, again, public improvements for the same thing, to continue rectifying deficient public infrastructure to ultimately spur economic development. And at the same time, of course, we're seeing amenities go in like the community center, like a splash park. All of that's made possible by this MURA because ultimately more businesses will wanna come in because they won't have to overcome that particular blight. And I'm sure you all know this, but I just kinda wanted to point it out again, because sometimes we have developers ask us, well, can't you just give us money to come in here? And it isn't that type of URA. It is, we have, IGAs with the districts, the county, and basically our charge is to do public infrastructure. And so that's what we've been doing. We may be branching out onto Walker Avenue. There's a developer over there who's interested in MURA participation. And again, he'll have to make the argument that but for the MURA participation, the project couldn't go. And I just want to bring that up because we talk to people all the time and we're always telling the story of what MURA's for, but other urban renewal districts that are older in other communities have a much broader ability to finance things, and ours is more narrow. I just wanted to say that.
Any questions or comments for staff? Commissioner Haynes?
Thank you, and thanks for your presentation. Administrative fee is a source of revenue. Explain that for me, your guy was a little slow than I get this.
That's one of the entities that you have I believe it's a school district that you have an agreement with.
Okay.
There's administrative fees that, the assessor charges for doing the tax collection that you have to, that you get a part of and then share back, not in every area that you do.
Down to consulting fees, to whom and for what?
Let's see which line I am.
5401.
Part of them would be paying for part of my services, part of them would be paying for part of your HR services that, for the staff that are involved, and part of them would be for engineers or planners or special surveys that you do, that type of thing.
Okay. So HR, accounting clerk above, does not count, or we double dipping on HR then?
No, HR above, there's nothing for 2023.
Okay, so that goes into a consultancy fee then, and we don't utilize staff on that.
Right.
Next side.
Oh, excuse me, part of accounting clerk is charged to this in the, salary and wages line item.
These, the capital outlay for wayfinding, those just the signs themselves, is that just the collateral, or is there a consultancy fee associated with that as well?
It's not necessarily consulting, it would maybe design if they're new, but it would be anything to do with putting those signs in place.
Okay. I'm very tuned to fees.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much. I do have one, this is at the very end of our page 2. And it was only, the reason why I'm bringing it up is there was a discussion about this during the coffee with the mayor. And it's got alley improvements. And my question is, and it's probably related or for Erica, the alley improvements that we're going to do, are they specific for drainage? And what happens to it once we put the alleys in? Does the town take care of the maintenance after that? Or is it the MURA? And then do any of the private residents have to pay for any funding for those improvements? Okay, thank you.
So
I was fine until we got all the way down to alley, so I'm good.
So having not been a part of the conversation at the coffee with the mayor, I can only presume that we're talking about a different alley that we're talking about in this budget.
Okay.
So in this budget, we're talking about the alley back here
Okay.
between the bean plant and downtown. However, you asked a question in general about alleys, and so there is discussion with Scooter Hinge and various businesses over there. One of the things that would come up as they redevelop their building is to improve that alley because of drainage and access issues. It could be an eligible expense that MURA may contribute to, And again, MURA doesn't own anything, so MURA would only contribute it to someone to fix it, either a private entity or the town. But ultimately, alleys are treated just like public rights of way. They are maintained by the town. It's not the individual responsibility of the people, but it is the individual responsibility of people to not dump excessive water, sand, debris, garbage in public rights of way. But the maintenance of them it's a town function.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback on that. There was a lovely discussion on Saturday. Yes. Oh, sure, go ahead.
My question is on page 2. So we're proposing, and maybe this is more for Lorelei or Helen, but, we used 50,000, almost 50,100, for the capital outlay wayfinding this last year. But we're asking for another, or may be asking for another 50,000. So I guess when you said you wanna continue, which makes sense, but moderately spending the same amount as this big effort seems not moderate to me. So why is it the same as what it was to get it off the ground and to do all these signs we have now?
So I can respond to that.
Well, let me just explain, just from a kind of ubiquitous level. The whole project was way more than 50,000. We took money, we had money from the municipal fund, from MURA, and we got a large grant.
Yeah.
And then we used the downtown fund, as I believe. So the total project was $350,000. And in that was a big design effort. So all the part, just the actual design has been done. Now we're kind of at the Santa's elves making the Christmas gifts and the signs. Now it's a matter of figuring out where we want a sign, and it doesn't have to be designed again. But 50,000 is relatively conservative. I mean, signs are expensive, as you know. 350,000 got us what we got. 24 signs, I believe, plus the LED. So it would be for opportunities, like, for example, the new parking lot that we're gonna build downtown. That would need to be signed and added to things, and so people knew what public parking was. All of that is part of what we consider branding and kind of shrinking the borders of need to define it. Going over on the east side, starting to make sure the east side has similar signage so people know where to go. So that's why, that's the price. And again, it's not like the gas filling fills the volume of the container. We wanna be ahead of it in case we need to produce the signs, and we thought MURA is a good place for that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? I'd like to say welcome to Sarah. This is her first meeting with us, even though we see her on the virtual screen. But welcome to MURA. If you have any questions or questions or comments, or you need to sit down with somebody, please contact staff. They'll be happy to help you, Sarah, okay?
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
Welcome. All right, is there anything, before we adjourn tonight? And it's good to see you too. I forgot. We haven't seen you for a while.
You got the call, right?
Yes. I appreciate everyone's attendance tonight. Commissioner James, thank you for driving all the way over.
My pleasure.
And thank you to staff for everything that you do. And I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Oh, Sarah. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Broadhead,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwright,
Yes.
Commissioner Babcock,
Yes.
Commissioner Kurtulina. I tried.
Yes.
Commissioner Shramps,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Chairman Whitlow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. The October 10th, 2022 special meeting of the Town of Meade Urban Renewal Authority is adjourned at 5:50. Thank you very much, everyone.
Recording stopped.